Oh, you thought that Chrissy and Jim Jones were at last doing well. You were mistaken, sweetie, because what just came out is going to rock the whole. Believe me, you are not prepared for this one. Chrissy Lampkin has been caught, and not just with anyone, according to rumors circulating the internet. The receipts, honey, are not lovely screenshots of lay messaging or even a video, and Chrissy has been skulking behind Jim Jones' back with another man. Jim Jones is going crazy right now, and let's not forget that he and Chrissy have been married for more than 10 years and have experienced everything together. Money troubles, adultery scandals, even the proposal drama, and now this. Oh, it's going to turn really ugly very quickly. But this is the bit that everyone is worried about. Speaking of the man Chrissy was seen with, Jim discovered that he wasn't just any old guy, but rather a close friend. Oh, honey, the fallout was explosive. Stay focused because the upcoming scandal will surpass the previous 5 seasons of love and hip-hop mixed with the revelation of who Chrissy was found with. Oh, you're going to have to settle in for this one. Let's take a moment to go back in time because if you've followed Chrissy and Jim's turbulent relationship over the years, you already know that they've experienced a lot of turmoil. But this is on it. Chrissy Lampkin and Jim Jones have been together for more than 16 years, which is essentially a lifetime in reality TV terms, but the one item. Let's not forget that Chrissy asked Jim to marry her on national television, and he accepted, but that proposal has always hung over their relationship. Afterwards, years went by, and Jim never actually got married. Yes, Chrissy stayed, but you can't deny that animosity grew over. Second, there's Jim, who has never been dependable. Let's face it, Jim has been involved in more cheating rumors than we can count, including late-night DMS. Not to mention those enigmatic business trips that coincided with Instagram or shady female buddies hanging out in the studio. Model sightings, but Chrissy remained by Jim's side despite the financial crisis, the rumors of infidelity, and even Jim's. When this infidelity scandal originally surfaced on blogs, most people assumed it was just another Jim Jones case because of purported financial difficulties. However, this time, according to people familiar with the matter, Chrissy was the one creeping this time, not Jim. Chrissy has been seeing another man for months, and the proof is flawless, began roughly 3 months ago when Chrissy was spotted in a posh Miami hotel. People found it odd that Chrissy was traveling alone without GI, but let's face it, it's not that uncommon. Then the photos began. Rumor has it that Chrissy was seen by the pool with a man who was sitting quite close to her. Not just sitting there, but laughing, drinking, and smiling. People initially believed it would be a harmless hangout because it was a touch too cozy, but once the actual receipts began to fall, several sources have verified that Chrissy wasn't merely hanging out with this man. Rather, they were holding hands, exchanging drinks, and reportedly vanishing into a private space. After Cabana together, insiders claim that someone obtained Chrissy's private DMS and that the screenshots that were leaked are scandalous. You have no idea. Chrissy and this unidentified man were reportedly texting each other flirtatiously for weeks. We're using strong emoticons late at night, and I miss it. Messages, and even some quite graphic images, and believe me when I say that these images don't leave anything up to the imagination. But this is where it gets worse because Jim lost it when he learned, oh honey. It seems that someone in Jim's circle obtained the screenshots and forwarded them directly to. Jim was reportedly sitting at home when the text arrived, and he immediately picked up the phone and began phoning Chrissy. Non-stop, and Jim immediately flew to Miami to face Chrissy face-to-face after she failed to pick him up. Yes, you read correctly. Jim boarded a plane and arrived at the allegedly knocked on the door of the hotel where Chrissy was staying, and Chrissy opened it. Let's take a moment to recognize how absurd this is. Jim has already been caught lurking several times, but Chrissy has always forgiven him. Now that Chrissy has been caught, Jim is prepared to destroy the entire relationship, but it becomes much more complicated when Chrissy opens the door and Jim discovers more than just her sitting there. Jim reportedly confronted both Chrissy and the unidentified man after I saw him alone, but the man Chrissy had been seen with was also present. Tell you, things nearly turned physical, so security had to be summoned. Jim apparently began ranting at Chrissy, accusing her of being a cheater and a liar. Chrissy, you did it to me for years, and you know how it feels. She didn't deny it, in fact, according to several sources. Insiders claim that Jim was not prepared for that degree of contempt. Jim attempted to pursue the unidentified individual, but security intervened. Chrissy's sister stood there observing the entire event as if she didn't care, but the real concern was whether it would get violent. Who is this mystery man? According to what I've been told, he's not just any old guy, rather, he's supposedly a member of Jim's inner circle. According to reports, the man Chrissy was seen with is one of Jim's business colleagues. I don't know about you, but that makes things completely different. Level, since this might develop into more than simply a romance scandal if this individual is connected to Jim's business. Full-blown legal problem, and Jim, he's already spoken with his attorneys, is reportedly preparing to sever his connection with this business partner right away. As for the part that will blow your mind, it turns out that this wasn't the first time Chrissy and this man were together. If that means losing money, then so be it. Seen together? Oh no, there are supposedly photos of them hanging out for months before, and based on what I've heard, Mezes owns those photos. Keeping more receipts, and if those photos are revealed, this will be the largest scandal in the history of love and hip-hop, based on what I've been told. Is about to reveal everything, so pay close attention because part 2 will reveal the true identity of this mysterious man, what he and Chrissy have been concealing, and how Jim is plotting retaliation, and believe me, you are not prepared for what is about to happen. Alright, let's move on to the dirty bits since this isn't just a oh terrible. This cheating scandal is becoming a major public humiliation for Jim Jones, and the internet is dragging him for filth. When I take up where we left off, Jim had just confronted Chrissy and her mystery man at the Miami hotel, and believe me when I say that things rapidly got out of hand. Numerous stories claim that when Jim saw Chrissy standing there with this man, whom he believed to be his buddy, things nearly descended into violence. Evidently, Jim approached the man, and when he refused to back down, the man nearly fell in the hallway, forcing security to intervene. Jim allegedly yelled, "You're dead to me," at the man, Chrissy, but before they were physically separated, Chrissy merely stood there with her arms crossed. Unconcerned. But this is where things become messy because as Jim was hauled out of the hotel, rumors about who caused it to explode online. When the truth was revealed, it was worse than anyone could have imagined. It turns out that the man Chrissy was found with is none other than, compared to Freddie G., Jim's longtime business partner and one of his closest friends. Freddie isn't just any old person. He's been in Jim's. He has spent years with Jim and Chrissy in Inner Circle, going on family vacations with them, visiting Jim's workshop, and even showing up at Jim's house. The shocking thing is that Freddie is not only Jim's business partner, but also apparently a significant investment in Jim and Chrissy's real estate endeavors. In addition to betraying Jim, Chrissy did so with a man who had direct access to their money and business, which is where things get risky. Turn because, according to insiders, Jim is not only devastated but also furious and has already begun the process of ending his business partnership with Freddie, but it's not that easy because it seems that Freddie was a major sponsor of a multi-million-dollar real estate transaction that Jim and Chrissy were involved in. Been working on, yes, you read correctly, millions of dollars are involved in this mess, and Jim might lose if he tries to cut Freddie out. Everything, but let's not forget about the response on the internet when it was revealed that Chrissy was having an affair with his business partner, Twitter. Went off and let me show you some of the greatest responses Chrissy had. The irony is lyrical. Jim had been unfaithful for her. After 10 years of pursuing her, Chrissy finally got her lick back. Poetic justice, Jim Jones's tears over Chrissy's infidelity are comical. Karma. Chrissy just gave it with a bow, and it's a terrible BTTCH. However, it wasn't only the fans who got dirty. Celebrities too began to comment on One Love. You are already aware of the hip-hop artist who wrote a scathing remark on a blog article about the scandal, stating, "This is why you don't play with women's." Even Yandy Smith had something to say, and as you are already aware, Yandy and Chrissy have a complex past. Yandy apparently went to said, "Maybe now Jim will understand what it's like to be on the other side. Live on Instagram. If you think Jim took that well, oh baby, you don't." No Jim because, based on reports, he phoned Yandy right away following that remark. Let's just say that the exchange wasn't cordial, but here's. Because it appears that Mies has more receipts, things move from messy to very scandalous. Yes, you thought the DMS were bad, but the video is worse, honey. A video of Chrissy and Freddie together at a private party has surfaced. According to people familiar with the matter, by together, I don't mean standing next to each other, and it appears that the camera captures Chrissy laughing and becoming very at ease while sitting on Freddie's lap. as well as the person who took the footage. Oh, it's a member of the Love and Hip Hop cast. This wasn't just any leak. Someone in their circle purposefully made the video, and they've been holding onto it for weeks in anticipation of the ideal time to release it. And, from what I understand, Mezes is aware of the precise identity of the person who recorded it. Advised them that Jim would never be able to move on from the incident if they exposed it. The funny aspect is that the video would not have even surfaced yet if Chrissy hadn't made an effort to refute the affair, but it seems that she went live on Instagram after the first rumor surfaced and remarked, "I don't know why people are constantly interfering with my affairs. Jim and I are reliable. Don't trust the gossip. When video proof is available," Chrissy truly believes she could. According to insiders, Jim was furious after seeing that video and gaslighted the entire internet. He texted Chrissy as soon as she went live, saying, "The worst thing is that Chrissy didn't even attempt to dispute it in private. Instead, she reportedly replied, 'Stop lying, you know what you did. Since you've been making fun of me for years, you understand how it feels.'" Chrissy essentially acknowledged that she was doing this as retaliation for Jim's previous infidelity. And word on the street is that Jim is going to go all petty, which includes freezing Chrissy out, so he's out for now. Jim appears to have financial authority over many of their joint business accounts, and he is currently working to lock Chrissy out. Chrissy, however, is not. According to insiders, Chrissy has already engaged a lawyer, and should Jim attempt to financially cut her off, she intends to bring him before the court for both monetary and emotional damages. Yes, you read correctly. Chrissy is coming for Jim's bag, and the most bizarre part is that the love. Additionally, hip-hop producers are already attempting to get Chrissy and Jim to discuss this on camera. They clearly want to make this mistake into a plot point. Jim is thinking about it, but only if Chrissy confesses on television. If that occurs, this love and hip-hop show will be the most watched one ever. History, but the true question is whether Jim will pardon Chrissy or if this is the last straw for their relationship. Keep an eye on things because in part 3. You are not prepared for the fallout, the legal drama, the money war, and the video that might permanently ruin Jim's career. What's next? Okay, let's move on to the nasty part because this isn't just an infidelity issue. Oh no, it's become a full-fledged public scandal. Let's continue where we left off, with Jim Jones and the internet humiliating him. Oh, the internet is hauling him for filth. Jim had just faced Chrissy, and when I tell you that things quickly got out of hand, and according to several accounts, it nearly turned violent. Her mystery man was at the hotel in Miami. Sources Jim allegedly walked towards the man when he spotted Chrissy standing there with this man, whom he believed to be his buddy, and the security had to intervene and physically separate them because the guy didn't back down, and it nearly went down the corridor, but not before Jim apparently. Chrissy said, "You're dead to me," and she simply stood there, arms crossed, unconcerned. This is where things get messy, though, since the internet was exploding with theories about the identity of the mystery man when Jim was hauled out of the hotel. And when the reality was revealed, oh my God, was worse than everyone anticipated. It appears that Chrissy was seen with Freddie G. Jim, who has been his longtime business partner and one of his closest friends. Yes, you read correctly. Freddie has been a part of Jim's inner circle for years and has accompanied him on family trips. The worst part is that Freddie isn't just Jim's business partner. He's also been spotted at Jim's residence and at the studio with Jim. Apparently one of the biggest backers of Jim and Chrissy's real estate endeavors. Therefore, in addition to betraying Jim, Chrissy did it with a man who had direct access to their money and business, which is where things go wrong because Jim isn't just devastated. He's furious, according to. Jim has already begun the process of ending his business connection with Freddie. According to insiders, Jim and Chrissy had been working on a multi-million-dollar real estate project, and he was one of the main backers of that deal. Yes, money is invested in this situation, and Jim could lose everything if he tries to take Freddie out. But let's also consider how the internet will respond. Because Twitter was ablaze with some of the greatest responses when it was revealed that Chrissy was having an affair with Jim's business colleague. The irony is that poetic justice Jim Jones cried when Chrissy eventually got her back after he had been unfaithful on her for years. Chrissy truly pulled a coup on Jim. Karma is a terrible beach TCH, and Chrissy just gave it with a bow. Oh, but it's hilarious that he's been cheating on her for 10 years. Not only were fans becoming unruly, but celebrities also began to weigh in. One Love and hip-hop star you already know who left a dubious comment on a blog. Even Yandy Smith had something to say about the scandal, which is why you shouldn't play with a woman's emotions because karma always comes around. I am aware that Yandy and Chrissy have a complex past. According to reports, Yandy posted on Instagram Live saying, "Maybe now Jim will understand how it feels to be." However, if you believe Jim took that personally, you don't know Jim since, according to sources, Jim phoned Yandy right after following that remark. Here's where things get from messy to downright scandalous since, let's just say, the chat wasn't cordial. Apparently, Messages has more receipts, so you thought the DMs were bad, but according to those with knowledge of the incident, the video is worse. It shows Chrissy, and apparently, the video shows Chrissy sitting on Freddie's shoulder at a private party, and by together, I don't mean standing next to each other. The individual who recorded it, who happens to be a member of the Love and Hip Hop cast, is giggling and getting extremely comfortable in Freddie's lap. Was not a spontaneous leak, rather, it was purposefully filmed by someone in their circle who has been holding onto it for weeks, waiting for the ideal opportunity to drop it, and based on what I've heard, Mace knows exactly who recorded it. He reportedly approached the individual and threatened to Jim if they leaked it. Recuperate from it, and the bizarre aspect is that if Chrissy hadn't attempted to deny the affair, the tape might not have even surfaced yet. Stated, "I don't know why people are always in my business," on Instagram Live following the initial story's release. "Jim and I are solid, so don't believe the rumors." Chrissy truly believed she could deceive the entire internet, and Jim was furious when he viewed the video evidence. Girl solid. The worst part of the footage, according to insiders, is that Jim contacted Chrissy right after she went live, telling her to quit lying. Chrissy supposedly said, "I told you you've been embarrassing me for years now. You know how it feels," without even attempting to refute it in private. Yes, Chrissy essentially acknowledged that she was doing this as retaliation for Jim's previous infidelity, and Jim. Oh, he's out for now, because rumors are that Jim is preparing to go all petty, which includes financially excluding Chrissy. It seems that Jim has control over many of their joint business accounts. He is currently shutting Chrissy out, but she isn't going down easily. According to insiders, Chrissy has already engaged a lawyer. Additionally, she intends to sue Jim for both financial and emotional damages if he attempts to cut her off financially. Chrissy is coming for Jim's luggage, and the most bizarre thing is that the producers of Hip Hop and The Love are already attempting to persuade Jim and Chrissy to sit down and talk about it on video. They want to make this problem into a plot, and Jim is thinking about it. However, only if Chrissy is honest on TV, and if that's going to be the most watched Love and Hip Hop program ever, honey. But the real question is, will Jim pardon Chrissy, or is this the last nail in their relationship's coffin? Pay attention because part 3 will cover the fallout, the legal drama, the financial war, and the video that has the potential to ruin Jay's career for good, and believe me, you're not prepared for. What's next?